reasons, excuses that we made. We found ourselves some treasure and threw it all away. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for?
I'm Anna here for Tearaway TV, and today I am joined by Mr. George Ezra. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. And you've obviously just played your first New Zealand showcase.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about how that went. How do you feel like the reception was from Kiwi audiences?
Do you know what? Great. I'll be honest with you, showcases can be a bit iffy, but it was lovely. Lots of people turned out and it was a nice atmosphere.
Tell us a little bit about how George Ezra came to be. You know, I mean, I read somewhere that you were discovered kind of on YouTube. Is that correct?
I moved to Bristol when I was about 18 and I decided to get busy. You know, I started doing open mics and supporting whoever I could and writing a lot more. And yeah, I guess that's how it started.
Yeah, and because you went on an OE kind of adventure around Europe to, you know, to write songs.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, what do you have one personal highlight that was, you know, or a specific day that was like, whoa?
They were all pretty special. There was a few cities that I stopped off in, and it was just the timing. Unfortunately, I went from Paris first and went around Northern Europe first, and some really bad weather followed me. Like, it wasn't great weather, and then when I hit Vienna, it was beautiful. So I'll always remember that. I'll always remember kind of just lounging about in the sun.
Do you have a favourite place in the world that is your favourite spot to perform in?
Well, like a specific place or like a country?
Yeah, I mean, either one.
I used to do a residency night in Bristol, so every 2 weeks I'd play a gig and invite friends to come and play with me, and they were free. And it's called the Galamalfrey, this venue, and it kind of became like a second home. For
you, is it about performing on stage, getting with the crowds, or is it tucking yourself away in a studio and, you know, banging those songs out? Like, how does the kind of, what do you prefer?
Live.
Yeah?
Yeah, some of my friends love being in the studio, and it's not that I dislike being in the studio. I think my least favourite part is the studio, and it's not that I dislike it. It's just that, unfortunately, in the studio you can keep redoing something, and people go crazy. You can spend hours on one guitar riff or whatever, and I always make sure we don't do that. It's just like, no, if we played it live, they would have got it once, and that's it. So try and keep to that. Then I like writing, and then my favourite bit is performing live.
My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castile you. Ooh, I leave it all.
You just released your debut album, Wanted on Voyage. Tell us a little bit about the album and what maybe someone who hasn't heard it can expect from it.
Yeah, so Budapest will be the song that is the first single off the album, and I think deliberately I went with that song as the first single because I think it's a good introduction, gives people a good idea of what the album's going to be like. But the most important thing for me on the album was to record each song as their own song, so I wasn't thinking about the sound of the album.
Yeah.
But naturally, because a lot of the songs came from the same place, it flows as an album, which was really important to me as well. I think it goes from track to track as a body of work. It's strange recording an album. I've never done it before up until now. And it was great.
And obviously, you know, Budapest is a single off the album, first single. Tell us a little bit about Budapest, because I understand there's a bit of a story to that.
Well, yeah, in the sense that... So I went up to Malmo in Sweden, and the next stop was meant to be Budapest, but it was the only city that I planned to visit that I never made it to on the trip. So then I wrote this song about things that I didn't have that I would give up for somebody. I thought it would be a bit sweeter, you know. I've been there now. I've been since, but yeah, it just came from that idea.
Nice. And obviously that video, that looked pretty cool to film. Tell us about that.
Well, the great thing was the guy that directed that music video had directed the previous one as well, so I was already comfortable with him. And I'm not... When you first start writing songs and performing them, you don't consider the idea of having to be filmed, you know, doing something. So it's, you know, it's good if you feel comfortable with the person. So that was great. And then he got all of the people in the crowd are his friends. They weren't paid extras. They were all family and friends of his, which made the whole day a lot funner because it's not that paid extras aren't good, it's just that it's a job for them. Whereas these guys, I think, got a day off their work. You know, it was like fun.
And obviously in today's showcase, you played a few songs for some kind of media industry and music industry people. And, you know, you closed with Did You Hear the Rain? my personal favourite song. That was a beautiful song to close with.
Yeah.
Is that your favourite song to perform, or what one,
It's
gives
my
you the
favourite
tingles?
to end on.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's a great way to end the set. My favourite song to perform? I've just got the band, so there's a few songs off the album that are really fun for me to play live now.
Wasting up your time, oh, now you're wasting mine. You brought me back in line, and I'm counting every link, and I guess you think that's fine. Oh, did you really? You try to run high, telling out the tree, no losing inside.
Is it true that you went to Splendor in the Grass a couple of years back and flipped burgers in the hope of getting a ticket?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was just visiting some family that lived, the festival used to be in Woodford, Australia, and that's where it was that year. And yeah, sure enough, he said, come, we've got this burger stall, you can help out and get a ticket. And yeah, it didn't work out, he couldn't get me in the end.
If you could curate your own festival, who would be the lineup?
Well, like the headliners. Oh God. Don't really know. I saw Rolling Stones headline Glastonbury and that was pretty special. Don't know if I could afford them though. Yeah, I'd go Rolling Stones. Eels, they're a great band. I'd have them. And do they have to be alive? Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Don't know. I'd go for those two, definitely.
Cool. Awesome. I mean, you've accomplished so much, in the last year alone. What is left on the George Ezra bucket list?
Oh, plenty. I don't know. I hadn't planned this, so whatever. I'm easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anywhere specifically that you would like to visit kind of in the near future?
No, I've never really had that kind of a list of places I want to go. I've just always been interested in moving and travelling, so I don't really have a list. Although saying that, I'd like to go to Africa. I've never been to Africa. I'd like to see some of that.
So tell us kind of what's up next for you. What's the game plan?
I don't really know. I'm flying back to England tomorrow.
Okay.
And then it's there's about 4 British festivals left to play. And then we've got a tour booked with the band again, so that's Europe and England. Yeah, just take it as it comes, I guess.
Because yes, obviously you said this is your first time in New Zealand. Is this a 24-hour kind of visit?
Yeah, I landed last night.
Okay.
Which was really weird because we left Sydney at like 3 in the afternoon, which isn't that late. And then we got here and it was nighttime. But it felt like the day was kind of lost, but we weren't on the flight for that long. I don't know, strange. And then, yeah, we leave tomorrow.
Cool. Thoughts on New Zealand so far?
Love it. Everyone's been really nice. It's
Yeah.
been great. It's just unfortunate that it's such a flying visit. Yeah, I'd love to have stayed a bit longer.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Worries, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.